that time, y'all. Time for big boys boxing.
I would never let a white boy beat me. I would never let a white boy beat me.
Possible opponent.
Big right hand, he's out.
And it's over. It's over, and it's going to be a knockout victory for Joe Smith.
What is going on, team? Welcome back to Big Boys Boxing. I'm Jono, your host. And excuse the background noise. Today I got kids. We still in lockdown here. It is what it is. But today we're going to be talking about this Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury 3 card. There are 5 heavyweight fights on there. And in my view, 3 of them are hella competitive. That is what we like. So just let me get a few things sorted here. Bit of a sound check first. That is what we seems to be working okay. Maybe a little background music a little bit louder before we get this show on the road. Let this mofo populate a little. Hopefully that background music ain't too loud now. Let's have a quick listen here, make sure it's all good. Little sounds alright to me. Nice and quiet in the background there. Alright, so we got Phil Carl Roberts in the house. Good to have you in, brother. Hope you're doing well. Blackout also in the house. What's good, Triple B? Man, I woke up this morning, I'm breathing, and there's some good boxing on this weekend. That's what's good. So I shall go and jump into the live panel on Discord. Bada bing, bada boom, there we are. I am in there. There is a link pinned at the top of the live chat for anybody who may like to jump on and give some opinion. Very shortly we'll get into the very first fight. We're going to start at the bottom with the heavies and work our way to the main. And yeah, hella three hella competitive fights on there, I reckon, and possibly 4, but I'm not so sure. I think the Kovnoski versus Hellinius, the Sanchez v Jagba, and of course Fury v Wilder are the 3 most competitive fights. I'm looking forward to it, man. I am looking forward to it. I've been amped for this for a while, and to boot, the following weekend is, I don't actually know if it's fully announced yet or what, but my boy from down here in New Zealand, Hemia, is going to be fighting the following weekend against Korea cruiserweight, but it's for Asia Pacific. Oh, sorry, the WBC Asia title, which would give him a top 15 ranking. All the more possibility of a Hemia v Alan Babic fight in my eyes if he gets that position. But anyways, that's down the track. We are going to concentrate on this other card today. Good, thanks, John. I hope you're well. Yeah, mate. I'm always pretty good when there's some good boxing on, Phil. Always pretty good. Ballbag blackout. What's that about? You two got some beef? Was that friendly banter or what? Must be friendly banter. Alright, team. So I shall start getting into these lower ranked fights. The first one I want to look at is this one here. Vickers v, what's his name? Mike Marshall. Right. This should be a pretty straightforward fight for Vickers, really. Vickers is on the rise still, so he kind of gets a pass building his record, as everybody does. Victor Vickers is 7-0. Mike Marshall is 6-1-1. Victor Vickers, decent kind of looking prospect, orthodox fighter, 6'5". He's from the Ukraine. He used to do quite a bit of training with Vlad when Victor was still amateur, so he has some experience. He's got that Eastern European style. Hasn't really fought anybody of real note yet, but like I say, he's only 7-0 so far, so it is what it is, man. And his opponent, Mike Marshall, like I said, he's been a cruiserweight most of his career. I think he actually even started as a light heavyweight. Just having a quick run through his record to see if I can notice any names. His first fight was at 180.5 pounds, so close enough to light heavyweight, but he's been at heavyweight for a few fights now. Last fight he was 246, fight before that 248 3/4, 244, 246. So he spent most of his time at heavyweight. He had a split decision draw on there against Steve Vukosa. Can't say I know the dude. He was 13-1 at the time, and of course we've got to look at his single loss that's on his record. He got knocked out in the first round against Luther Smith. I have heard that name, but I can't say I know the dude either. He was 5-1 at the time, so this should be a pretty straightforward kind of fight for Victor Vickers. I expect Vickers to maybe get him out of there in 2 to 3 rounds. I could be wrong, man. I don't know a hell of a lot about the dude, so we'll see what happens. But it is an 8-rounder, okay? So my pick for that one is Victor Vickers by stoppage. I'll go round 3, okay? Right, so just a quick look back over at the comments over here. See if anybody's got any opinion to drop about it. Oh, too many windows open here. Raffy. I see all sorts of predictions. That's what makes it. Yeah, man. Because everything's, well, there's at least 3 really competitive fights. I mean, I had some good friends show me their picks yesterday, and I was like, oh, I don't agree with that, but I'm not gonna argue because any of the outcomes can happen in a lot of these fights. So, man, I just respect somebody else's opinion. Yeah, my son's trying to mess with me now. Sorry, son, you'll have to wait. Yeah, there's so many different picks. I'm not going to argue with anybody's picks. I'm quite happy to give my opinion, and I expect anybody else to respect my opinion. It doesn't mean they have to agree with it. Right, we know if Wilder fights AJ would be on the ground. Man, that's not a talking point right now, is it? It ain't going to happen. And let's face it, they both had the chance to fight for several years. I don't care who you think the blame is on. That fight ain't happening. If if Wilder Fury gets KO'd, do you think they'll retire? Nope. I do not think either of them will retire, and I do not think either of them should retire. They're still top 5 boxers whether they get knocked out or not, man. So I don't like the idea of when somebody loses, people turn around and say, oh, they need to retire. When they're not 40 plus years old, when they're not getting smashed over every fight. I think it's ridiculous how people say, oh, he lost, he needs to retire. He's done. Anyways, we have Mark from Unrivaled Boxing Talk in the house. How are you today, brother?
Yeah, man, I'm doing great. How are you? How are you today? Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, got you good, man. Got you good. Yeah, so just running through a couple of comments here. I noticed a few people saying Anthony Joshua should retire because he lost to Usyk and he probably can't win the rematch. Do you think that's ridiculous?
I do think it's ridiculous. I think Anthony Joshua can beat nearly everybody else in the division. And personally speaking, I don't know about you. I put this up on Twitter just about an hour ago or so. If, let's say, neither Wilder nor Joshua can avenge their defeats, let's get them in the ring. That's a huge fight still.
Yeah, man.
Huge. Wilder Joshua is still mega.
Definitely.
You don't need belts on the line to see two big bastards trying to knock each other the hell. You don't need that.
Yeah.
Sorry, John.
It's all good. Well, you know, I see a few people who have had some pretty critical words about Joshua in the past have all of a sudden started being nice and, you know, suggesting ways that he could possibly win a rematch against Usyk and so on and so forth. And I think a lot of people are starting to realize that if Anthony Joshua, the cash cow, isn't at the top of the stack, most people's paydays against the champion is going to be a hell of a lot less. So maybe we do want Joshua back as champion.
Well, I was talking about this a while ago, right? I think I've mentioned this constantly. Whenever you've got a cash cow in a division, you milk it. The second that cow is gone, your money's gone.
Yeah.
You need that. Like, look at all of the fighters around in that heavyweight division, right? Pulev, 7 million to fight Joshua. Takam, 5 million to fight Joshua. Ruiz, 7 plus 15, 22 million against Josh. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, his career, he don't need to be fighting. He got 22 million quid.
Exactly.
You know what I mean, John? Like, Parker got, 6 million for Parker, which in New Zealand is like
13 million.
You're good. You're Gucci. You know what I mean? You're Gucci down in New Zealand off one way. Like, you don't need. Let's just be real here. When you can get those fights and that person's around. Now, I'm not trying to be funny or nothing. Joshua versus Usyk. I don't know how much Usyk got. There's estimations, but I heard roughly around he was guaranteed 7, right? But then on the international backhand, he could have made anything up to 15 million.
Yeah.
That's what I heard, right? So I don't know exactly what he got. Now, you think about it. He gets 7 against Joshua. Now, let's say he fights Joe Joyce. They can't get him 7 million and Joyce 5 million. They can't.
Answer the no.
They can't make it. They can't make it. That money's not there.
No, be more
people
like
aren't buying
1 in
those
3 if they're lucky.
Both guys got 1.5. One got 2 million. One got 1 million. They'd be happy as hell. Yeah. They got 3 million out there. You know what I mean? So make the most of what you got while you got it.
Yeah, indeed. All right. So I did my quick assessment of the first fight I looked at, which was Vickers versus Marshall. You want to give your quick thoughts on that, mate, before we move on?
I really rate Vickers. A couple of fights ago, he didn't look too good to me, though. I think you probably seen. I think he was on a Zion Kosabuski card or whatever, something like that. He didn't look extremely good. I think Marshall is a smart fighter. He's not a great fighter, but he's a smart fighter, right? And I think Marshall should be able to make this go the distance. Ooh. I think he'll clinch a lot, use his pace. But you should be expecting if Vickers if he performs up to what we expect the top prospect to do, he should stop this guy. But I don't think he will.
Yeah, I think I think I've only seen Marshall fight once, and I didn't even sit through the whole fight. And he's got no height and reach and anything on BoxRec here, so I don't know. I mean, he can't be that big if he was down at 180 pounds in his first fight. So
I think he's about 6'2", 6'3", John.
Okay. And Vickers he's 2 meters tall, so he's almost 6'7", isn't he? So he's
pretty much, that's 6'7" to me, bro. That's 6'7".
Yeah. Well, I looked it up, and technically 198 centimeters is 6'6". So 2.5 centimeters per inch. It's
Bro,
close
he's
enough
like
to 6'7".
0.02 of an inch off of not being 6'7".
Yeah.
And that's barefoot. For all intents and purposes, when he's walking on the streets, he's probably 6'8" in a pair of Air Max.
Okay. All right. So I picked a 3rd round stoppage, but now that you've mentioned how smart Marshall might be, I can't change my pick. I've got to stick with that. So I think he's going to go the distance.
No, yeah, you stick with your pick. I'm trying to read too much into Vickers' last couple of performances, right? He should be able to stop this guy. He should be able to.
Yes.
Good.
But, he is slow, man. I just watched some more footage of him before I jumped on. He's slow, but he's southpaw, isn't it? Oh, yeah, he's southpaw, and he's got a decent straight left. He's got a pretty good right hook, but slow, man. Slow.
Who's this? Who's slow?
Vickers.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about Marshall for a second. I was going to say, whoa. Nah.
No.
This will be. It's an intriguing one, John. Because look at it like this. He hasn't exactly shone so far, Victor, has he? He hasn't said. You don't look at him and go, oh wow, you're one of the best amateurs over the last 7 years. You know what I mean? You look at him and you go, are you shot?
Yeah. He looks a bit shot, but he's not old enough to be shot yet. But anyways,
yeah, but he has 270 fights. This is 270 or some shit.
Amateurs, yeah, crazy. All right, so we shall move on to the next one, and the next one is we'll get that picture off there. There it is. So it's this one here. Oh, Jared Anderson versus Vladimir Tereshkin. Now, I had to do a bit more looking at this guy. He's a southpaw, isn't he? I got Vickers wrong. He's not a southpaw. He's orthodox, isn't he? I've got them mixed up here. So Tereshkin, 22, 22-0, 1 draw, taking on Jared Anderson. Tereshkin's another big unit as well. He's pretty close to 6'7" as well. He's southpaw, can move a little bit. Hasn't really fought anybody of any note. If you're not from Eastern Europe, you probably don't know pretty much anyone on his resume. But he's stepping up here. And something that big against Jared Anderson, I don't think he's faced anybody that big yet. But yet another one who's slow. So I don't know how good Tereshkin's chin is, to be honest. So it's hard to give a good prediction on this for me, but I'm guessing Anderson will get him out of there in 5. Anderson's pretty sound. He's very evasive. He's got enough power to hurt pretty much anybody. Good feet. He's young. He's hungry. So I think it's pretty straightforward win for Anderson here. What are your thoughts, Mark?
Straightforward win. I got him at round 7 myself. I think he'll go past the 6th round because I think Tereshkin's going to look to survive. But once we get 5 and 6 from the pressure off of the jab, Tereshkin's going to start getting tired and hurt. Then Anderson's going to keep going through the gears because he's shown in his fight so far when he's in that 5th and 6th round, he's still got gas, you know what I mean? And the kid throws a lot of shots, so he's fit. Yeah. So I got him in the 7th. I got him stopping the big galoot in the 7th.
Yep. Any picks on what?
It's that time, y'all. Time for big boys boxing.
Here we go. Played the damn intro again. There you go. Now you're free to talk.
So I need picks on what I think will do the most damage. The jab.
Yep, just the jab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to break him down with jabs and the right hook to the body.
Yep. Sounds like that's pretty much what
The
Anderson
dude will
does
be
anyway.
exhausted. He'll be exhausted, get taken out with either a straight or an overhand right.
Yep. Do you think he'll go down more than once? Or do you think he'll go down and that'll be it?
I'm not too sure. I don't know what his heart is.
Neither. So yeah, I can't comment too much on that one either.
Yeah, that'd be guessing. That'd be pure guesswork.
Yep. We don't like guesswork if we can avoid it. That's how you lose money if you're a gambling man.
Yeah, just go by what you know instead of going by what you think is a plausibility most of the time.
Indeed. Alright, so now we're going to get into the more interesting ones. The next one is Frank Sanchez. What do they call him? The Flash. Frank the Flash Sanchez against...
You're too slow to be called the Flash.
Yeah, maybe he was the Flash 20 years ago. Who knows? Because he still looks...
What, when he was 40?
Come on. What was that, you had a Cuban age formula that I heard you talking about the other day. How does that work?
Yeah. So if they're below the age of 30, what you do is you take the last number and you add it onto their age. So if they're 28, you add 8 onto it and they're 36. Now if they're in their 30s, you multiply the two numbers together. So if it's 35, you multiply 3 times 5, 15. You add that onto the 35, they're really 50. If they're 40, you add the two numbers together. So if they're like 44 or 42, you add 2 and 4 is 6, and you add that on to the 42, giving you 48, but you also add the extra 4, so they're really 52. That's what you do with it.
Far
You always go in sequences of 3 times 4. So you always kind of add 12. You add 3, 6, 9, or 12, essentially, all the time.
Okay. Well.
And if they're 50, they're telling you the truth.
Yep. Well, supposedly, how old is Frank Sanchez supposedly supposed to be? Let me look that up.
In his 20s, isn't he? So he's 38.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. I guess we better talk about the bloody fight. I think you and I pretty much have a similar view on this one. I think we're both picking Sanchez to win on points, possibly outbox Ajagba, but myself, that's who I'm picking. I'm not even sure whether I want to go on points or stoppage yet, because Ajagba doesn't have the best gas tank, and later on in the fight, Frank's got enough to stop him, I think, if it gets to that. But if Ajagba can cut off the ring and put Sanchez in the corner and unload some of those big power shots on him, it could be all over real quick. And Ajagba takes it, so this is one of the ones I'm excited about, because I really don't know what the hell's going to happen. But for me, just looking at it with Sanchez's jab, his footwork, his superior speed, I won't say he's really fast, but he is faster than Ajagba, I think.
Absolutely.
So, Ajagba
Effie's stronger.
Yes.
He's stronger. Probably more powerful. Longer. It comes down to the speed, and I think Sanchez will have enough fitness. The other thing is, I think Sanchez will wear out Effie's gas tank. Right, John?
Yeah.
Because some things people don't really pay attention to is Frank is not a clean fighter. He pulls you by the neck. He puts his elbows on you. He leans all of his weight on you. He'll hit you with elbows, and he is very good at getting away with shots below the belt.
Yeah. Crafty
So,
Cuban, man.
he's very crafty. This is part of the reason I'm picking him. It's going to be a scrappy affair, and I think it'll be on points because I don't think Sanchez has the greatest gas tank himself. And when we get past the 7th round, Frank will be up very comfortably. I'd say he would have won 5 out of the first 6, and then he's going to start disrupting a lot of Effie's work by using something that Effie can't deal with. Frank is a master clincher. He's brilliant in the clinch. So I got Sanchez in points, man.
Yep. I see quite a few people are picking Ejagba by stoppage. And like I said at the start of the stream, with these close fights, I'm not going to argue with someone else's pick. I'm just going to give mine and that's it, because it could happen. It is 10 rounds, so it's not the full 12, but with both guys possibly having questionable gas tanks, it's possibly still going to look like both guys have been in there for 12 after 8. So, but the best thing about it is, Sanchez is 18-0, Ejagba is 15-0. We're seeing someone's going to go, hopefully. We get a draw, I won't be happy. I want to see these guys moving onwards and upwards. So, there you go. Both Mark and I have Sanchez on. Well, yeah, I'm going to go points. When I place a bet, though, I may just go for the win instead. Just to be safe. Or safer. It's not really safe.
It's not really great odds. It's not really great odds on Frank, to be honest. He's a negative 250 or something, isn't he?
I don't know. I haven't even looked yet. I wait until the Thursday or Friday. So we've got all the options.
Knockout.
Yeah.
More people are betting on the knockout on FA when prop bets come out, I reckon, because FA is in the positive odds, so they'll want to push that from 280 to like 350. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'll want to do that.
Okay. Lost my page. Yeah, here we go. All right, so Jesus, I've lost my event. Give me a sec here. Just finding it. Here we go. So the next one we have is also a hella competitive one.
Yeah.
Robert Hellinius v. Adam Kovnoski. It's the rematch. The first time round we saw Adam Kovnoski get stopped, to many surprise, but honestly I wasn't really that surprised. I think Robert Hellinius gets a little bit underrated. Dude hits like a goddamn truck. He's proven it time and time again, but he tends to gas out after round 6 or 7 if he's got some pressure on him, and he tends to pull backwards and get caught with his chin in the air. Duipa did it to him. Washington did it to him. But if he can hit you square on the chin, it don't matter who you are, it's going to do some damage. I think Kovnoski underestimated his opponent this time around. He's possibly going to be a lot more careful in those first few rounds. But Adam Kovnoski running defense, I don't know if it's any good for him. I think his best defense is offense, but I don't know. We'll see if he's made any adjustments. It's quite possible for me. I think if it goes past 4, Kovnoski's possibly going to stop Hellinius. But one thing is for sure, I'm pretty damn sure this fight ain't going the distance. My personal pick, I think Hellinius is going to stick behind his jab as much as he can, throw the old uppercut, but he might be able to do a bit more work from the outside if Kovnoski's trying to be a bit more careful. And that could be detrimental to Kovnoski. Like I said, I think his best defense is offense. So I'm picking Hellinius to stop Kovnoski in round 4. Your thoughts, Mark?
I'm picking Kovnoski, I believe. Let me actually go check out what my prediction was for that fight, because I have all of my predictions for the week up on Twitter. It'd be like that sometimes, Let's say I picked, I believe, Kovnoski round 6. Yep. Round 6. I think he's going to be a little bit... I think he's going to have calculated pressure. I don't think he's going to be excessively gung-ho. I think he's going to go towards, like he did in the first couple of rounds last time. He's going to work strong. He's going to be dissecting to the body. Then in rounds 4 or 5, I think he's going to take a breather. He's not going to attack. He's going to let Hellinius kind of come towards him a little bit, and he's going to just move around. And then he's going to go back on the attack. round 5 through 6 and stop him.
I will be impressed if he can restrain himself to be able to take breaks like that. To me, it just doesn't seem like it's in his nature. Actually, you know who his coach is?
I don't.
No, neither do I. Yeah, so we can't talk too much about that. But if he can make,
He used to be trying to Sugar Hill.
yeah. And we never really saw Kronk style out of that, did we? We just saw Kalinaki style.
I do know that he was in Joe Smith Jr.'s gym for a while. So
Okay. Interesting. Well, if he can make a few adjustments and get caught less, a bit better defense and manages gas tank, I think it's highly possible. Like I was saying, if it goes past 4, I don't like Hellinius' chances. Especially with the pressure that Kovnoski puts on and Hellinius, the way he gasses out later in fights.
One thing that's good for Robert, right, is that at any point, if Kovnoski overexerts himself on his pressure and Robert swings a shot and lands on him, that's the fight there. Yeah. It can be that could literally be it. Robert, like you said, hits like a mule. He doesn't let his hands go enough, but when he does, it's scary.
Yeah. Dang dangerous. Before Tyson Fury and the rest of the current crowd came along, everybody was saying he's going to be the replacement for Vladimir Klitschko at the time. So that one loss to Duopo and everyone just wrote him off instantly.
Hellinius, Fury is what people expected Hellinius to be.
Exactly.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
That's a good
description. In a nutshell.
Yep. All right. So that's those predictions all out the way, and we are going to move on to the main events, the trilogy fights, the one nobody really wanted to see, but we're still going to sit and watch it anyway because it's 2 of the top 5 ranked fighters in the world. So, I'm happy that it's happening, and I don't really care who wins, to be honest, because both of these guys talk so much crap outside the ring. It's kind of taken the luster off it for me. Plus, along with all the delays we've had. Scheduled, rescheduled. But it's given... Yeah, here it is. It's given both guys the opportunity, particularly Deontay Wilder, potentially make some much-needed changes within his team, within his style. We've seen a lot of training footage. Whether he's going to be able to put that into practice in the fight is going to be another story. But interesting fight, man. You want to give your take first, Mark?
I don't want to be like bad or too short or anything, mate. But if Wilder don't land the right hand that knocks Fury out, it's the same as last time. It's the same.
Yeah, I totally agree.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The biggest difference is Wilder's going to the body, right? That's what he seems to be showing. That's straight right to the body, and he's leaving his chin out. I think Fury's going to catch him with uppercuts and hooks. And when I say hooks, he's going to smack him on the back of his head hundreds of times. If he leans in like that, he's just going to clatter down on the back of his neck, pull him into a clinch, lean his body over him, turn him around, step off of him, 1-2.
Yep. Yeah, well, the contrast between the first fight and the second fight about how much rougher Tyson made it for Deontay, it worked, but at the same time, if Breland hadn't thrown in the towel, Tyson was starting to look pretty tired.
He was. No, John, I'm not listening to that garbage, right? I love people, man. Tyson was tired. Did you see Deontay, bro?
He was fucked.
What? One was tired, the other one was dead. Yeah. And here's the thing that everybody, if Breland didn't throw in the towel, Kenny Bayless said, I was going to stop that after 3 more punches. That towel wasn't coming in. He said it himself. He was stopping it.
Yeah. So, what does Wilder call him? A spit bucket referee or some How disrespectful was that, for God's sake? Just because he said he was going to stop it. This dude just does not deal with losing very well at all. Hence the 100 excuses.
Well, after this fight, he's going to have more experience with it, so the more experience you get.
Nice.
Look, I'm not saying it's a foregone conclusion. Deontay hits like a mutant.
Yeah.
He does. It's freaky. It really is. My eyes can tell me. He doesn't have the resume to back it up, right? But he's got the right hand. That's proven to me anyway. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that fella doesn't hit. If he hit me with a shot in the temple, he'd probably kill me. And that tells you something. If he were to land on most people, like most people out there, he doesn't hit hard. If he hit you in the face, he'd shatter every bone in your face.
Yeah,
he would.
They are big dudes. They put some weight behind it. It doesn't matter whether, like Deontay Wilder, if you think you can knock everyone out with one punch, these guys hit hard. Not all of them sit down on all their punches, and that's so they don't take too much risk, or so they don't get countered with something big, like something from Deontay Wilder, and get slept in one punch. So, even things like people were saying Alexander Usyk doesn't hit hard enough to hurt anybody. How many times did we see Joshua stagger in that fight?
Look, Intangible said this to me. It was something I was thinking about. If you rewatch that fight, it may be shocking to people, but Usyk was the puncher there.
He was. Yeah.
He was the puncher. Yep.
That's scary. So, yeah, don't underestimate Fury. I mean, last time people said he was pillow-fisted, he knocked out Deontay Wilder. So
he's never been pillow-fisted. He just doesn't sit on his shots. When he sits on his shots, he hits.
Yeah.
He hits. Any 270-pound man who's 6 foot, let's be real, 6'8", right, John? About 6'8", who has arms that long, because his arms are freaky long, right? And they get full extension, and they follow through with their body weight, they'll knock over your house. Yeah. They'll knock your house over. That's a big... you don't want to feel that. Especially with the fact that he has technique.
Yep.
Right? He's slappy, but when he sits and turns through his fist, you don't want to feel it.
Yep. So, my prediction is possibly very similar to Mark's. I think Tyson Fury is going to win this one. Whether he's going to stop Wilder or not... I'll say yes right now, but I think Deontay's going to try and get on his bike a little bit more and try and move a bit, but I don't think that's going to help him too much because he doesn't have faster feet than Tyson Fury. Tyson can catch up with him easy enough if he wanted to, and Tyson's going to be laying all over him and making him tired, so his movement isn't going to last too long anyway. But yeah, like Mark says, if he tries that bodywork that we've seen in training, look out for that uppercut. Tyson Fury has a very good one. Just about knocked himself out with it. So look out.
Yeah. John, let me ask you a question, right? That too many people are afraid to talk about. Does Wilder want to fight Fury? Does he actually want to? I know, like, people may think so. I'm only asking because, as far as I know, Wilder said he was moving on the Brian Custard show in December 2020. He was moving on. He didn't want it. Shelley Finkel came out and said, no, we're having this fight a month later. Right? It was Shelley Finkel's team in the courts. It was Al's team in the courts. It wasn't Wilder's team. It wasn't his lawyers. He doesn't have a choice on that contract. They do.
Dang.
I'm asking, does he truly want the fight? This is just an honest question. Does Wilder truly want this fight? Or is he actually being cashed out and he's just trying to make as much money as he can?
Well, I think the smart thing would have been to take some other fights and possibly work on some stuff before coming back to this one, but I think Wilder wants to knock Fury out, but I don't think he wants to fight him. He wants Fury to stand there and let him punch him, knock him out with one shot. That's the way I see it anyway, but has Wilder still got the hunger, I guess is the question. I think he's got the hunger, but not against Fury. because I'm pretty sure he knows his chances of beating Fury are pretty low. I did see an article this morning saying,
I think he's petrified.
yeah, I think he's, he was talking about in this article I read that if you've got power, you're always in a fight. That is a fact, but if you've got skill that's way better than the power, plus a bit of power as well, to me, the skills are going to pay the bills. The power's going to get you flowers when you're laying in the ground. So, I don't know. We've seen it throughout history, quite often a puncher can beat a boxer, but more often than not, the boxer's going to beat the puncher, the way I see it. Especially with that skill gap.
You always pick a great boxer over a great puncher, but you always do.
Yeah. But still, best of luck to them both. I'll probably still put a little hedge bet on Deontay Wilder for the knockout. Just in case.
Probably good odds.
Yeah. It's probably paying like 5-1 or something like that. So
I don't think it's that wide, mate.
No?
Maybe in New Zealand. I'll check what it is for me right now. When we get to Wilder.
Oh, good.
Yeah, Wilder and the knockout's not going to be 5-1, mate. I don't think so.
Fury was 6-1 the last time round. I cashed in on that one. So did you.
Yep, Wilder's 38-5.
Okay. That's only just over 2-1, isn't it? Far out.
Yeah, I'll tell you what it is right now.
Dang.
It is, if you put 10 down, it returns 26 on top of your 10, so 36.
Okay.
Plus 260, I guess.
Yep. Interesting. Well.
That's nothing.
Yeah. Make a little dosh on it anyway, if it happens. If it happens, it'll be covering anything else because, yeah, I think that's the one that's most likely to get stuffed up for me is Wilder catching Fury with something and ending the fight. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'll probably be doing a stream for the 3 competitive fights myself. So stay tuned to the channel team and come Sunday New Zealand time, you can come and watch a blow by blow. I'm sure Mark's probably going to be live as well.
Probably
Yeah.
drunk.
Yeah, I'll be drunk as well. Actually stilling out my alcohol wash today for the weekend, so I have to be 240s. That'll make it.
Well, I've got 3 trays of Heineken and a tray of Corona, and I've got 2 bottles of Jack, so I'm good.
Oof, yeah, that'll get you through the weekend. That's for sure.
I'll probably get you through tonight, maybe.
All goods. All right, so that is our little chat about this weekend's card. You've seen Mark's picks, you've seen my picks. I'm a little disappointed none of y'all wanted to jump on and give your live picks so we have some video evidence, but hey, we've got a live chat.
Well, let's say this one thing, yeah? At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter who wins in any of these fights. Truth be told, it doesn't. We're going to be watching fights anyway. And I hope everybody enjoys this weekend's card. Whoever you're picking, whoever you got, I hope everybody can make a little bit of dosh for themselves, have a nice weekend and enjoy the fights. Because it's a great weekend of boxing all across.
Fingers crossed, we get the best men winning the fights. None of this dodgy judging crap.
No Campbell Hattons this weekend, please.
Damn right.
For the love of God.
We had enough of that recently, so enjoy the fights, team. And that is us. I'm Jono from Big Boys Boxing, along with Mark from Unrivaled Boxing Talk. Get over, check out his channel if you haven't already, but odds are you already have. So we shall catch you next time. Take it easy. We out.
Shh. It's that time, y'all. Time for Big Boys Boxing.
I would never let a